Hellraiser is the new Hellraiser movie. Yep. I think every horror movie fan breathed a collective sigh of resignation when this one was announced. Another pointless remake, we thought. It's gonna be terrible, we thought. But we all knew we were gonna watch it. Especially me, when I found out the film was being directed by a dude named David Bruckner. This actually gave me hope, because this guy recently made a pretty decent horror picture called The Night House. That movie looked great. It had a really tense, psychotic atmosphere and a really cool horror premise of an outre entity coming into our world. Ooh, spooky. Sound familiar? The only sin of the movie was that it didn't go far enough. Hellraiser, though, perfect material for this guy. So, is it any good? Well, it's not terrible. I have some criticisms, and I think a lot of people will end up really liking it. If you did, maybe you'll hear me out. I know it's 2022, and we're supposed to dislike anything we don't agree with, but come on. Come on, these are comedy reviews. Love thy neighbor, so saith the good Lord Satan. So, the good stuff. Speaking of 2022, the lead Cenobite is female, and that stuff is fun. Let's be real, the highlight of any Hellraiser movie is the Hellraiser stuff. And this flick has plenty of skin-peeling ooey gooey once it gets going. I also like the casting of Odessa as our protagonist. She's an unusual choice, and far more interesting than your typical starlet blonde, blah blah, you know what I mean. I didn't care for the rest of the characters. I thought they were pretty boring, but I liked the setup of Riley as this drug-addicted burnout trying to get her shit together and accidentally summoning Hellraiser demons while stoned. I actually wish they played into that more, and that's where my complaints start. Complaint number 1, the plot. The big problem with this plot is that we know everything. The first 2/3 of the movie is the story of mostly boring characters trying to figure out what we as the audience already know. This is the exact opposite of tension. We know the puzzle box summons the Cenobites. We know they'll give a speech about pleasure and pain and all that blargety. Watching these chumps fumble around just isn't interesting when the central mystery is not a mystery to me. This leads into complaint number 2, characters. Like I said, they're boring. Remember Bruce Campbell? Now Ash was a character. Why can't horror movies have fun characters anymore? This group of 20-somethings have all the personality of wallpaper paste. And if I'm gonna watch them tiptoe through an utterly predictable narrative towards the good stuff, they could at least bring a little something personality-wise to the table. Complaint number 3, concept. Hellraiser has always been more interesting in concept than execution for me. I think the first film is wildly entertaining, but it's more like a comedy than a horror movie, to me. I made a video about this yesterday, and it's my most disliked video, but I'm not bitter. Anyway, I think the Hellraiser premise is wildly cool, and I wanted to see a movie go hard in the paint in exploring it. While this new movie has some cool visuals, it doesn't really do much to expand the premise, except that each Hellraiser is apparently made by a configuration of the puzzle box, which I thought was incongruous to the philosophy of Hellraiser. You exist beyond our dimension, seeking pleasures unknown, but you exist by these predefined archetypes? That seems contradictory to me. I thought you were explorers. What's with the arbitrary rule set? Much like the characterization, this is a failure in the writing. I just don't think the script was very good. That's my 2 cents. My dream Hellraiser movie would be something different. It would be super psychedelic, where a character along the lines of Ash from Evil Dead or Nick Cage from Mandy get embroiled into the Hellraiser culture. We've seen boring characters get eviscerated in 38 Hellraiser movies now. Let's get weird. This doesn't have to be just Friday the 13th. Let's go behind the veil. Get Panos Cosmatos to direct it. I know I'm weird. I know this will never happen, but a boy can dream. I am the dreaming boy. So, Hellraiser, it's well directed with some fun stuff at the end, but overall, I was pretty bored. It seems like a retread aimed at teenagers, and they'll probably find it spooky. I don't know. I guess it exceeded my expectations for whatever that's worth. I am curious though, if you liked the film and didn't press dislike in anger when your opinion wasn't validated, what did it for you? It was the Cenobites, wasn't it? Be honest. I mean, this gal was kind of sexy. She looks less like a demon and more like she's gonna seduce Captain Picard. Alright, that is me done for the day. Thank you for watching, and get out of my theater. I need to watch this new Halloween movie. I hope it's not terrible. It probably will be.